Hey there, Bearcat Nation. Thanks for tuning in to the Bearcat Sports Report. I'm Austin Legess, and that's Brandon Phillips. We've got a busy schedule ahead with a lot of Bearcat athletics to talk about, so let's start it off over on the softball diamond, where softball wrapped up their 10-game homestand, Brandon.
Yeah, over the past week, the Bearcats have wrapped up the home portion of their schedule, completing 3 doubleheaders, splitting all 3. First up, it was the Lions of Lindenwood University. The Bearcats dropped Game 1 before rebounding in Game 2. Jamie Dogendorf went 4 for 4, and Katie Nauman added 4 RBIs in helping Susan Getze pick up her 4th win of the season. Over the weekend, it was the Miners of Missouri S&T coming in. They took Game 1. The Bearcats then rallied in Game 2, and Erica Johnson sent the Bearcat fans home happy with a walk-off RBI single in the bottom of the 7th. Kelsey Stoskas picked up the win, her 5th on the season. And then Saturday, it was senior day here at Bearcat Field for the 3 Bearcat seniors, Kayla Jenkins, Caitlin Streety, and Kay Kuntz. Kuntz and Streety both picked up a hit in Game 2 to help the Bearcats en route to a 6-2 victory. Kelsey Stoskas picked up her 2nd win in his midi-days, giving her 6th on the season. The Bearcats now stand at 16-22, 9-15 in GLVC play as they head to William Jewell College this weekend to begin a 10-game road trip that will end their season.
Over on the baseball diamond at Hikes Field, Bearcat Baseball, a 4-game Great Lakes Valley Conference matchup against the University of Indianapolis this past weekend. On Friday, the Bearcats split with a W in Game 1, 8-4. On the mound, John Trampy picked up the win after 5 innings of work and striking out 4. Kyle Rutledge and Jay Klein added 2 RBIs. In Game 2, the Bearcats fell 7-1. Saturday, the Bearcats were set by the Greyhounds despite comeback efforts in both games. They fell in Game 1 7-1 in 8 innings of work, and in Game 2 16-7. The Bearcats will be on the road this weekend at St. Joseph's College for a 4-game series against the Pumas, and then will travel to University of Missouri St. Louis next Wednesday before returning home on April 26th to take on the Flyers of Lewis University. Over on the tennis courts, a special congrats to both men's and women's tennis who picked up berths to the 2014 Great Lakes Valley Conference match over at University of Missouri St. Louis, which will take place on Friday. The men's picked up a number 3 seed in the East Division and will take on the University of Missouri St. Louis in the opening rounds, whereas the women's picked up a number 4 seed and will take on top-ranked Panthers of Drury University. And good luck to both those teams as they compete this weekend.
Over on the golf course, the Bearcat men wrapped up their regular season this past weekend at the Midwest Regional. The team came away with a 4th-place finish. A special congrats to Nathan Nottrot, who came away with an all-tournament honors finish in a tie for 4th place after shooting a 147 over the 36-hole event.
Over at Lehman Field, lacrosse had a game last Friday night against Colorado Mesa University. They welcomed the Mavericks as they were trying to cut a 4-game losing streak. They fell to the Mavs, though, 13-3 in a heartbreaking loss. Leading the way on the offensive side of things was Ryan Holzmeyer. She added 2 goals, leading all Bearcats. And in the net, sophomore goalie Kelly Eastman picked up 14 saves, despite picking up the loss, moving her record to 1-3. The Bearcats, now 2-6, will be at home Sunday, April 27th, as they take on Rockhurst University in their season finale.
In track and field, both the men's and women's teams were in St. Louis over this past weekend for the St. Louis Invitational. The women's team came away with a 4th-place finish. Senior Latia Jefferson led the way with a trio of top 6 finishes. She took 3rd in the triple jump, 4th in the long jump, and 6th overall in the high jump. On the men's side of the track, the Bearcats came away with a team finish of 6th place. Freshman Clayton Carroll continued his strong season for the Bearcats in a record-setting fashion. He set the new McKendree mark in winning the javelin throw. He cleared a distance of 53.47 meters, breaking the old record of 51.89 meters set last spring by Chris Wilhite.
Last Saturday, on a warm, hot, sunny day, it was beautiful for spring football. We got to sit down with head coach Mike Babcock to get his thoughts on his team's spring game, which happened last Saturday.
We're joined now by head coach Mike Babcock, entering his 2nd season at the helm of the Bearcat football program. Coach, thanks for joining us here today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, after last season, first full season as a head coach of the Bearcats anyway, how'd it go?
I thought overall it was pretty good. Obviously, the wins and losses could have had a couple more W's in there, but I thought the guys played hard. I think it was a great first season, and now we're on a roll going into year 2.
So entering year 2, is there anything different from year 1 now that you have a year under your belt?
The players. The seniors leave and they lose some senior leadership, but now you've got a couple other guys to be able to step up and take their place and really move this team in the direction that they want to move it in, because it's really their team. It's the players' team.
I know you've been having your spring practices and you've been in the weight room. Last weekend we had the spring game. What are your kind of thoughts overall on the outcome of the spring game?
I thought overall, as an entire spring, I was pleased, and then it culminated in the spring game with the defense really playing outstanding. Had a couple of turnovers in the game, playing fast, but the biggest thing was the pads were hitting. And I love it when guys get after it. I love it when there's some great competition, some big time hits, and that's really what I saw. Obviously, we're not there yet. We're not the Dallas Cowboys yet, but we're still going to try our hardest and keep on going.
And obviously, as a coach, there's always something there. What did you see from the spring game that you need to work on moving forward over the summer and into next season?
I think the big thing is depth. We were hurt quite a bit at offensive line. We only had 6 offensive linemen in the spring game, so some of them took over 120 snaps in the game. And so that's a lot of snaps for the big boys. So just depth-wise, that's what we're really looking for. We're still looking for a couple playmakers on both sides that can really amp up our game a little bit. But honestly, just to continue with the team camaraderie and that blue-collar mentality of that, hey, I'm going to bring my hard hat and lunch pail to work every day. Doesn't matter if it's in the weight room, in the classroom, on the practice field, wherever, and that's how we're going to win football games.
Yeah, and what do you expect over the summer from the guys, and as we move into the season, what are your expectations from the end of the spring game to the right before opening kickoff of the first game?
Well, I told the guys right after the spring game, brought them up and told them that in exactly 4 months we are going to be reporting for camp. 4 months, and it is going to come quick. So we're going to have guys here over the summer. We're going to have guys that may end up going home. But the big thing is that the guys are really pushing for winning football games and doing the little things and getting in that weight room and really getting a stronger, bigger, faster football team, because that's really where we need our strengths to improve, and that's in these next 4 months. So this is going to be a tough, big and tough road ahead of us, but I think the guys are up for it. They're excited about it.
And you mentioned it'll come quick. Season gets underway in September. Before we let you go, what are your expectations for the season?
Again, I want guys playing hard. I want guys playing physical, playing fast. I want them having fun. This is a fun sport, and really, I want them improving every week. And I'm not going to say whether I want X amount of wins, but obviously the W's help, but that will come from always continuing to improve. So.
Head Coach Mike Babcock, thanks for sitting down with us today, and best of luck moving forward with the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach, for sitting down with us. It's never too early to start thinking about the regular season. Just a reminder, the Bearcats do get their 2014 season underway with a Thursday night game September 4th against Ferris State University. The first ever Thursday night game in the history of the Bearcat program. The bowling team is in Reno, Nevada for this weekend's X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships. Before they left, we got the chance to sit down with head coach Danielle Belobraydich.
Well, we're here with Coach Danielle Belobraydich, representing men's and women's bowling team. Thanks for sitting down with us, Coach. We appreciate it. Coming up here pretty soon, you guys are headed to Reno, Nevada for the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championship. How are your teams excited for this event?
Oh, they're excited. I think that's just an understatement. They're getting ready. It's a long break between sectionals and nationals, so it's all building up, and they're ready to go out and compete.
Throughout this season, your team has greatly improved. How have you seen improvement in yourself, both individually and as a team?
Well, individually, we have a long season, so each tournament it's just about getting better each and every time, and I think our best performances came out during the sectional tournament. So to know that each weekend we've got athletes who are up there for All-American awards, and our team itself, we're expected to do well both on the men and women's side, just speaks to the types of improvement that we've made all the way up until this point.
Now we know you're head coach of the women's team, but you're representing the men here, so let's break this up here. What are your expectations for your women's team coming up this weekend?
The women's team this year has definitely been a little different than each of the seasons before that we've had. We're growing. We're kind of rebuilding almost, and each of my players have stepped up to the plate. They're all growing, and they're making extreme improvements every single weekend. So going into this week, I think the biggest thing is to make sure that they just put it all on the lane. I think that's one thing that we're sectionals. It took until the very last half to kind of put it all on the lanes, and if they can do that for one entire tournament, we have a very good chance to make a run for a national championship.
On the other side now, the men, they've progressed their way up. What expectations do the men's side have coming in?
I think their expectations are just as high as they had them last year. I mean, they took second, just barely losing to Robert Morris, Illinois, and so they're expected to go in there and do kind of the same thing. Make sure that they continue to have their steady heads all the way through and continue to go after each team, taking each match one at a time.
Now, I know this last Wednesday you guys had a little mock trial of nationals at St. Clair Bowl. Sadly, the men took it. That's a little downer for you. How are your team feeling after that little tough loss there, which came down to the last throw?
Yeah, each game it actually came down to the last frame, and so that to me that just shows the type of character that my women have, and the type of character my men have. The women, yeah, it's a tough loss, but it's something that you can grow from. You're not going to win every match. It's about learning from the experience that you've had and to continue to move on and take that lesson and be able to apply it for the next time you're in battle.
Well, thanks, Coach. Appreciate all you have. That's Coach Danielle Belobraydich representing men's and women's bowling team. We wish them all the best of luck in Reno, Nevada.
That's just about going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the Bearcat Sports Report. However, as always, we have a busy week of athletics coming up here at McKendree University. Everything's on the road this weekend, however. Baseball travels to St. Joseph's, where they'll play a doubleheader Friday and Saturday. Softball has Rockhurst and William Jewell over the weekend, and the track team will be at the Dewey Allgood Invitational in Rolla, Missouri.
Special congrats and good luck to the bowling team who will be in Reno, Nevada for the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team Championships. Good luck to tennis, who is over at University of Missouri St. Louis and hopes for a GLVC title this weekend at the conference tournament. And, of course, a good luck to our men's golf team, who is in Columbus, Indiana for the Great Lakes Valley Conference tournament as well. Don't forget, check out our YouTube page, type in McKendree University Athletics to find all our previous shows, and visit mckbearcats.com to keep up on all the latest news in Bearcat land. I'm Arsenal Jazz Sets Brandon Phillips for Scott Cummings, Rich Demock, and Eric Buck. We hope you have a great weekend, Bearcat fans.